Good morning, students. Hope you all are doing well. Today, we'll start our new chapter in history, chapter 2, From Trade to Territory. Students, in this chapter, we are going to study about that how Britishers they came India and established their power. Here, in the first slide, we will see about Aurangzeb. Aurangzeb was the last powerful Mughal ruler. Students, he established control over a very large part of the territory, and that is known as India. And after his death in 1707, many Mughal governors and big zamindars began asserting their authority and establishing regional kingdoms. Students, here you can see that Bahadur Shah Zafar was forced to leave the kingdom in 1857. So Bahadur Shah Zafar was not that much powerful like Aurangzeb. And in 1600, East India Company acquired a charter from the ruler of England. So the Queen Elizabeth I, she granted permission only to the East India Company. And here the last point we can see here, mercantile companies in those days primarily to make more profit. So mercantile meaning, students, are business enterprise that makes profit primarily through trade, buying goods cheap and selling them on higher prices. Here you can see the pictures of Aurangzeb and Bahadur Shah Zafar. Here students, in this slide, East India Company comes east. East India Company comes first east. So in 1600, students, the East India Company chartered the permission, as we talked before, from Queen Elizabeth I. So she granting it the sole right to trade with the East. This meant that no other trading group of England could compete with East India Company. So here you can see that they got venture across the ocean looking for new lands from which it could buy goods at a cheap price and carry them back to Europe to sell it at higher price. The company did not have to fear competition from another English trading companies. So students, that mercantile trading companies in those days made profit. Okay, and the royal charter, however, could not prevent other European powers from entering the eastern markets. By the time the first English ships sailed down the west coast of Africa round the Cape of Good Hope and crossed to the Indian Ocean. So students, here the Portuguese had already established their presence in the western coast of India, and this Portuguese is Vasco da Gama. You can see here the picture of Vasco da Gama. He came first by the sea route. He discovered the sea route to India, and afterwards French came to trade in India, and fine quality silk and cotton was produced in India. In 17th and 18th century, the traders sank each other's ship and they were fighting with each other. An effort to fortify settlements and carry profitable trade led to conflicts among local rulers. So these were fighting with each other. Here you can see in India that time, Portuguese, French, Dutch people, English people, many people from outside, they came India for trade. And what was the reason? Because the India have fine qualities of cotton and silk, and they have pepper, cloves, cardamom and cinnamon too. Students, in this slide we will see how East India Company begins trade in Bengal. Here you will see that the first English factory was set up in 1651 in banks of river Hooghly. So student, this was the base from which the company's traders, known at the time as factors. The factors means the factory operators. The factory had a warehouse where goods for export were stored. As trade expanded, the company persuaded merchants and traders to come and settle near the factory. So they wanted that all merchant and traders should come and live near the factory. Here, by 1696, it began building a fort around the settlement. And 2 years later, it bribed Mughal official into giving the company zamindari rights over 3 villages. So they gave bribe to Mughal rulers to get more place in Kolkata. Students, then one Mughal emperor Aurangzeb, he gave Farman. Farman means a royal order. He gave Farman to granting the company the right to trade duty free. So the company tried continuously to press for more concession and manipulate existing privileges. Here you can see in this picture local boats carrying goods from Madras. And this is the person Murshid Quli Khan. Here we will see the one question that how could the Nawab of Bengal Murshid Quli Khan not protest? Why he protested? Why should he will not protest? Because Aurangzeb gave this farman to them that they can do their business duty free. So here in Calcutta, we will see that expected to pay duty, they refuse to pay, causing an enormous loss of revenue for Bengal. So that's why Murshid Quli Khan protest these Britishers. Students, here in this slide, we will see how trade led to battles. These Britishers, they came India for business, but how this trade changed into battles. The early 18th century, the conflict between the company and the Nawabs of Bengal intensified. It means it's severe. So their power and autonomy, other regional powers were doing at that time. Murshid Quli Khan was followed by Ali Wardi Khan. Ali Wardi Khan was the ruler of Bengal, and after when he died in 1756, then Sirajuddaulah became the Nawab of Bengal. So students, they refused to grant the company concession, demanded large tributes for the company's right to trade, denied it many right to mint coins, and stopped it from extending its fortifications. So when they refused, then what happened? The company of deceit, they claimed that the company was depriving the Bengal government of huge amounts of revenue and undermining the authority of the Nawab. So the company on its part declared that the unjust demand of the local officials were ruining the trade of the company, and trade could flourish only if the duties were removed. So students, the company was worried about his power and keen on a puppet ruler who would willingly give trade concession. So that's why that time the Battle of Plassey happened. Why this battle is called Battle of Plassey? Because Plassey is an anglicized pronunciation of Palashi, and the place derived its name from the Palash tree, known on its beautiful red flower that yield gulal, the powder used in the festival of Holi. After negotiation failed, the Nawab sent 30,000 soldiers to the English factory and captured the English officials, locked up the warehouse. So, on hearing this news, what these people have done, these Britishers, they asked Robert Clive. He came to Madras and reinforced by naval fleets, and Robert Clive led the company's army against Sirajuddaulah at Plassey. So one of the main reasons for the defeat of the Nawab was the forces led by Mir Jafar. Mir Jafar was one of the Sirajuddaullah's commander, and he never fought the battle. Clive had managed to secure his support by promising to make him Nawab after crushing Sirajuddaulah. Students, this Battle of Plassey became famous. Why? Because it was the first major victory of the company in India.